We had 1 week spring break and 1 week midterm. And yesterday we just had the programming exam. So we finally are now back to regular classes, okay? But a couple of things I would like to, straighten out, okay? The first thing, okay, the midterm, okay, the midterm will be graded and returned to you like next week, okay? So I think like this style should be reasonable, right? I give you some flexibility, okay, in case if you don't, fully prepared, at least you can drop like 1 to 2 questions, okay? So I think the midterm is okay, but for the programming exam, okay, programming exam, there's a lot of things to say, okay, about it, okay. First, I think we made it very clear, no AI tool is allowed in the exam. 我开始学生跟我一开始就讲清楚说不能够用 AI 工具吧？有吗 ？Right? So we called, at least 3 students who, directly use the AI tool. Let me make it clear, okay? I'm doing AI research, so I encourage my students, okay, to utilize AI tool, okay, when they write the programs. And I also understand, like, after you graduate from here, okay, after you work for the industry as like a programmer, obviously you need to know how to use AI tool to write the program, such as GPT, such as Copilot. I know, that's inevitable, okay? But, okay, we are, in this class, okay, we are teaching algorithm, okay? If you are allowed to use AI tool, I don't know, I'm giving you exam or I'm giving the AI exam. Okay, it's obviously not it's going to be very difficult, for me to evaluate your understanding about the course material, okay? So I think like that's the reason, okay, I do not allow you guys to use AI tool. It's just like, in a regular exam, you have like a closed book exam and open book exam, right? Okay, if it's closed book exam, okay, we confine the problems in the concept that will be that was like taught in class. It's more the problem is more is easier, and it's like more down to earth. You could say that, okay. But if it's open book, okay, obviously I will have to assign some open problems, okay, because you are allowed, to to search, to look for any material, okay, either online or in the library. So I have to be creative when when I assign the problems, and the problems will also be more difficult. So it's kind of like these two different approach, okay. So for the programming, exam, if I allow you to use AI, then I have to up my standard. Okay, for example, I probably will have to ask you to create a complete system, not just a program, a complete system within like a confined time. So if that's the case, okay, there'll also be a problem. Why? Because some students may not know how to use AI tool. I mean, this course is not about AI tool, right? This course is about algorithm, right? 就我们这堂课是教演算法嘛，我们这堂课不是教你们说，你们要怎么样子用 AI tool. If I allows you to use AI tool, some students they may not know how to use AI tool. Some students are very fluent in using the AI tool. So, and if I give like a very difficult questions, I mean those students who know how to use AI tool efficiently, obviously will benefit. Okay, will get much. I mean the difference will be very, very obvious. But I'm not here to test if you know how to use AI tool, right? So because of all these considerations, so I don't think it's appropriate to use like a Copilot, to use GPT in the class. Okay. According to what we have seen so far from your programming exam, first, as I said, there are 3 students we caught. Okay, obviously, and they also admitted they use AI tool. Even though we already tell everyone not to do that. Okay, for those 3 students, okay, I have discussed with the TA. My decision is, okay, I will not send you to the school, okay? Because, I mean, if I send you to a school, I mean, it's going to ruin your future. But I recommend those 3 students to drop this course. Okay, because I also check those 3 students are not computer science major. It happened to be like that. Okay, I'm not, it's not like I treat that computer science student differently. Okay, so if that's the case, I think they can. The best thing is they drop this course. They can take this algorithm course in, maybe next year. Okay, if they think it's not good for, I mean, my teaching is bad. Okay, they have to, they want to try different instructor. We have 2 sessions. I'm sure the other session, okay, may be more suitable. Okay, because the other session, as far as I know, they don't have programming exam. Okay, 没有上机考. Okay, if you don't decide not to drop it, I'm sorry to tell you that you will fail. Okay, you will fail. I will not give you a passing grade because I'm already trying to be very generous not to send you to the school, right? Okay, so that's the first thing. And also, okay, my TA told me there are many programming exam results, okay, I mean, from many students. They look eerily similar. Okay. What should I say? This time, okay, we held a programming exam in, when some of you are doing that in like a computer lab, the other are doing that in the other classroom, and I allowed you to use your computer to do it. Okay, and because of that, it's difficult for us to check if your environment has, for example, Copilot plugin installed or not. Okay, I think that's difficult. Okay, so so we have discussed. I have discussed with TA about this issue. As well. So next programming exam, because they look similar, but I have no evidence to make sure like these students are using AI tool, but the result, their answer look eerily similar. You write a program like you must have some variable, must have some spacing that are different, right? So how come the spacing and the variable names are so similar? But we don't have hard evidence for these students. So I decide like I will not. This is a warning, okay, for those of students who use AI tool, but who are not caught, okay. But next time, okay, I will have the programming exam held only in computer lab, and you are only allowed to use the computer in the computer lab, which do not have AI plugin. Okay, we do this just to be fair to every student. Okay, I don't want to, you guys are, grown up. You are adults. I don't want to treat you guys like a thief. It's really not my position to do that, But you guys are forcing me, so I'm sorry. I try to treat you as an adult. See, I think like today, for example, maybe only like one third of you come here, right? The other 2/3 are not here. Do I take attendance? No. I never take attendance. I treat you as an adult. If you don't decide not to come, I respect your decision. You guys just have to, what should I say, study the material by yourself because you are adult. OK， 我从来不点名，为什么？我把你当作成人嘛，成人你做事情，我说我们的目标是这个学期你要学好这门课。如果你觉得说我教的不够好，你自己学可以学得更好。No problem. I never feel I'm, my teaching is like, top of the world. No. There are a lot of good teachers. For example, like some professors who won like a teaching award, okay, in our department, they are teaching. They can teach much better. I'm pretty sure about that. Okay, but because I treat you as an adult. I respect your decision. But at the same time, I hope you will follow the rule. OK， 可以吗？好不好？我觉得说这个应该 ，this is just to be fair to every student. OK, I don't want like at the end of the semester like some student come to me saying like, oh, I try to be honest, but a lot of students cheat in your class and they got a better grade. This is not my intention. OK， 所以重复一下，用中文重复一下 ，because this is important。OK， 这次考试至少抓到3个人用 AI 工具作弊，然后他们也承认了他们用 AI 工具作弊。那这3个人如果继续留下来，我会当掉。OK， 所以我会建议这3个人退掉这门课。那我是不太喜欢做这种事情，但是没有办法，这实在是夸张。那另外，其实有一群同学，他们的答案非常像，譬如说那个变数命名也几乎一样，然后 spacing 都一样，这都是非常奇怪的事情。但是这一次我知道说，因为有一些同学用你们自己的电脑，你们用了 Copilot plugin， 但是这个我们没有证据，所以这次这些同学我就 let go， 我没有办法，因为我没有证据。但是下次的 programming exam， 下次的考试，程式考试会在 Computer Lab， 而且只会在 Computer Lab， 你们也只能用 Computer Lab 的电脑。这样子你们没有手上的你们的电脑的你们自己的电脑，所以它里面不会有 Copilot 的 plugin。这样子的环境对大家比较公平。那我刚刚前面也跟大家解释过，为什么我们不能够用 AI 的工具？因为我是要测试你们对这门课的理解，不是 AI 工具对这门课的理解。第二个是说，有些人会用 AI 工具，有些人不会用。那我不是测试你们对 AI 工具的熟悉程度，因为这门课目的不是这个东西。有一些别的课可能是譬如说有些课可能是专门教，你会不会用 AI 工具？那当然他必须要看说，你对 AI 工具使用的娴熟程度。可是如果说这门课有人会用，有人不会用，到时候因为这个差距，然后成绩造成不一样，这不是我要的。OK， 所以这个是跟程式考试的相关的东西。最后一个 ，the last one，OK，the last one is about like a homework submission. Okay, I received like multiple requests. Okay, about like I missed the submission deadline, and I remember I submitted the exam, the homework. Okay, either like a written homework or like a programming homework. I mean, the student would just say, "Oh, I submitted it, but the system has some problem, not accepting my submission. So here is my submission. Please take it." 你们是 freshman 吗？应该不是吧？我们这一班没有大一新生吧？ This is not like a course for freshman student, right? Okay, so and this is not the first time you use E-class to submit like a homework assignment, right? Okay, so after the E-class submission, you will receive an email to confirm your submission. Is that right? 哪一个人摇头的过来跟我帮我把这堂课退掉，拜托拜托。OK， 因为 E-class 本来就有这个机制，譬如说我交了这个作业，我有这个 acknowledgement， 这个 email 就是证明说我有交。如果系统出问题，你拿这个 email 过来，那我会处理，没有问题。那你说这个是系统问题，我承认。你什么都没有，你跟我讲说我交了，那是系统的问题。那如果我让你接受你的 submission， 那我是不是让所有迟交的、所有没有交作业的人，我都要说， 你们可以教哦。为什么？因为我没有理由不接受他们的啊，因为这变成说自由新政嘛，对不对？你说我教了，我怎么验证啊？我没有办法验证，I have no way to verify that. Okay, but this is not supposed to happen. I'm not supposed to teach you how to use EE class. Come on, you are not freshman student. Okay, if you are a freshman student, you are first year. This is your first semester. Yeah, I have to teach you how to use EE class. Okay, you are supposed to be the third year junior student, at least. Okay, at least. So, and also, obviously, I mean, this is not your first submission. I mean, we use the EE class, I mean, for previous submission, like multiple times. Even for this class. So, some student just came to me like saying, oh, I remember I submitted it. And this must be system's fault. What can I say? What do you expect me to say? I mean, I can only grade your submission based on what you submitted. Okay, I cannot grade the homework assignment based on what you have on your computer or what you think you submitted. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so I think I treat you guys as adult. Again, let me bring this up. I treat you guys as adult. At the same time, I expect you are doing adult, behavior. You have adult behavior. Okay, so this is like a mutual respect. Okay, this is mutual respect. Please do not force me to treat you like a high school kid or like a 八加九。You know, I mean, 我们就是已经早就有这些都是规矩嘛，我们早就设好的规矩，那我们就按照规矩走。We follow the rule, we abide the rule. Okay, we don't, you know. I mean, if some student want to break the rule, okay, how about how can I, you know, tell the other students who follow the rule? Okay, it become like those students are kind of like penalized because of the rule, which is also not what I want to see. Okay. Anyway, 所以这个是跟 submission 相关的，那个 homework submission， 请。如果说你 miss 掉那是你的事情哦，不是我的事情。OK， 我们有 deadline 过一天你还是可以 submit， 你只是有 penalty。但是你如果说哦 deadline 再过一天你还是没有 submit， 然后你跑过来说系统有问题，那我能怎么讲？我真的不知道我要怎么讲，所以希望这是最后一次我收到这些 email 问我说，哎，这个我要怎么办？这怎么办？如果说有些时间，我知道 I know like some students in our department they care about their score so much, okay? They don't want to have like a blemish, okay? Blemish like a little bit lower score, maybe 80 something in their grade. So they feel like, oh, this is like going to lower my GPA. If that's the case, again, I recommend that you drop this course. If you make mistake, because, I mean, 那个退选的时间其实蛮后面的嘛，对不对？你们可以退选，我不是说我鼓励你们退选啊，我也不是这么哎，你们这么 arrogant， 就要你们说你们就是退吧，不是我的意思是说，如果说你这么在乎成绩啊，你已经犯错，你就会成绩会受影响，那怎么办？那可能就退掉，那下次再选这样子，可能对你的成绩比较不影响。OK， 这也是一种做法嘛，对，因为我不可能说为了你改变规则， Okay, I cannot change the rule based on just some students' input. That's just not fair to the other students. OK， 所以拜托，希望这是最后一次我收到这种 email， 我真是 I'm growing tired of that。OK， 好，那今天 OK today we are going to try to finish the hashing, the topic about the hashing. Okay, so last time we actually before the exam we already covered a little bit, but this material is not covered in the midterm. Okay, so we talk about what hashing is. Okay, basically, hashing, okay, is a spatial data structure that allows you to do the insert and the search very, very efficiently. Okay, basically, like you have, you know, a symbol table. Okay, you can treat that as like this is just like this is for one record. This is for one record. So I mean, your record has a key, and the other fields, and you want to insert this record into your array, and then okay, basically you try to use the idea is you try to use a function, okay, because to convert, okay, this key, okay, it could have a big range, but obviously your storage has a limited amount of space. So you try to use a function to map the key, okay, directly into the range of the function of the storage space, okay. So, for example, the range of keys could be very big, but you know the function, okay, after it convert into maybe like the index of the array, okay, it's going to be your array may be limited. Maybe you only have like 1,000 record, or I mean in the school, okay, say like the NCU, I mean we have only like about less than 20,000 people in our university, okay, including the instructor, including the students, as well as all the staff members, okay, less than 20,000 students, I mean 20,000 people. So the record, okay, the array, okay, I mean should be less than 20,000, okay, the size of the array. I mean if you want to be more, what should I say, like try to include all the people that have, you know, relationship with NCU. Okay, for example, like if this student or this guy enrolled in NCU anytime, like you know, after NCU was established, okay, then let's consider NCU for like 100 years. Then it's like 20,000 times 100. That's still like you know, much smaller. The number is still much smaller than this you know, range of the key, right? Obviously. So you do need a function to map your key into the range of the index of the storage space, which is an array. So that's the idea of the hash function. So this hash function h map the key okay, into the index of your array. Okay. So this computation of the hash function usually is, because it's just a very simple function computation. So, it takes, constant time. Operation take constant time for you to, from the key, to map to the index. Okay. So this is wonderful. Wonderful idea, okay, but there are some issues. For example, okay, it could be there could be situation like multiple keys, gets to be mapped into the same location. For example, in this figure, K2 and K5, they get to map into the same location. We call such a thing as collision. And to resolve collision, one way to do it is to build a linked list. Okay, but there's some pros and cons of that. We discussed this early. Last time, and we also talk about like load factor. What load factor is? Okay, this alpha is n divided by m, where n is number of keys in the table and m is the size of the table. Okay, number of slots. Okay, so I think I also, we also talk about how to analyze, the cost of an unsuccessful search. Okay, so it's one is like you apply hash function and X slot. You must pay a constant, cost, and alpha is just the amount of effort to search the list. Okay, so this is a search cost. Assuming you use like the linked list to resolve the collisions. Okay, so expected search time is like that. Okay. And I think like we stopped here last time. Okay, I just gave you like a quick rundown of what we have covered prior to the exam. Okay, so now come back to the new material. Okay, so we need to, consider a good hash function, right? We need to find a good hash function. So the assumption of simple uniform hash is very difficult to guarantee. Okay, so there are several common techniques that we can use to, to make the situation better, but still, we cannot say it is, simple it is perfect. Okay. So what is the desirable hash function? Okay, the property of a desirable hash function. A good hash function should distribute the keys uniformly into the slots of the table. So we want the keys to be distributed uniformly. And also, this uniform distribution is independent of the distribution of the key. Okay, so regularity in the key distribution. Okay, the key distribution has nothing to do with the distribution of the of the records on the table. Okay, after the mapping. So this is what we desire from a good hash function. For these two things to appear at the same time, it's actually difficult. Okay, because like you want the mapping to map to like evenly to the table, while you do not know the distribution of the input. That's tough. Okay, that's difficult. So there are two very, very common hash functions. One is division, one is multiplication. Okay. So the first one is division, and it's as simple as like a mode operation. So K is a key. So M is like the size of the table. Okay, here remember the index in the table is from 0 to M minus 1. So after this mode operation, the range of HK will be from 0 to M minus 1 as well, right? So it looks great. Okay, it looks great. But there are some considerations here, okay? So you don't want to pick an M that has a small divisor, D, okay? So otherwise, okay, a lot of keys, okay, they are, congruent modulo D can, can affect the distribution of the records in the table. For example, say M is 10. If you pick M as 10, then obviously, if the key has like a 10, 20, 30, 40, all these numbers that are congruent, 它们都同余，对不对？就是你 mode 10除以10同余嘛，对不对？ I mean, they will be mapped into the same place, right? So this is the issue, okay? This is the issue, okay? So there's another thing, okay? So I just gave you an example when M is 10. Another thing is when M is 2 to a certain power. If M is 2 to a certain power, then the hash doesn't even depend on all the bits of K. For example, okay, if I is 6, if M is 2 to the power of 6, then your hash, your key, when your key gets mode like 2 to the power of 6, like the last few digits are what you are going to get, right? Okay, last 6 digits to be exact, right? So all the other, digits, above the last 6 will be ignored, right? Will be ignored. So, from the idea of information theory, this is not a good idea. Okay, this is not a good idea. We want, this mapping, okay, to consider, if possible, okay, all the digits. Okay, not just like a few digits. Okay, not just a few fixed digits. Okay, so obviously if M is a power of 2, that's also something we don't want it to happen. Okay, this is like extreme deficiency. Okay, I mean, so as a result, Okay. You want to pick m to be a prime, not too close to a power of 2 or 10. Okay. I mean, I just gave you examples of power of 2 and power of 10 that will result in some undesirable behavior, right? So, so we want to pick m to be a prime, okay? No, I mean, not too close to the power of 2 and power of 10, and not otherwise used prominently in the computing environment. Okay, so you don't want the m to happen, I mean, to be seen very, very commonly in your computing environment. Okay, but while this computation is very convenient, okay, because it's a mode operation, okay, but sometimes making the table size a prime is inconvenient. So, and also usually a small prime we can remember, but when the prime gets big, it's going to look ugly, right? So we don't like the table size to be a prime, okay? Usually. So this method is popular, okay, because it's simple, okay. But to be honest, the division method is not as efficient as the multiplication method, okay? So what is multiplication method? Okay, let's find it out. It looks complicated. But it is actually not that difficult, okay? So first, we assume your table size is 2 to the power of r. So first, table size, m, remember m is size of the table. So the size of table is 2 to the power of r. So which is good, right? Because like in the division method, the table size, as I said earlier, I mean, it is suggested to be a prime, okay? But a lot of time we don't like a prime. So in this multiplication method, I mean, the size of table is 2 to the power of r. So it's looks much nicer, okay? And assume the computer has W-bit words. So, this is dependent to your hardware, okay? Some computer, I mean, has a longer word. Some computer has a shorter word, okay? I mean, you took like a computer architecture. I don't think it's required computer architecture. You probably took like a 那个技概，对不对？技概应该有教过嘛？什么叫 Word， 对不对？在电脑里面什么叫 Word， 对不对？那有些电脑里面一个 Word 是16个 bit， 有些电脑里面一个 Word 是32个 bit。OK， 这个是应该你们大一学过啦。OK， so it's a hardware dependent. Okay, I mean we consider that here is just for because it's easier to compute. Okay, in this manner. So, and then we define hash function to be like this. A times k, so k is your key. So A times your key, mode 2 to the power of W. So after this mode, obviously, the result is going to be, going to contain like, W bits, right? W bits only, because any bits higher than W will be, discarded, right, after this mode. So Well, it's you may argue, hey, come on. I mean, previously we mentioned this is a multiplication. How come we have a division? Okay, but I'll get to that point later. Okay, I'll get to that point later. So here, okay, a dot k mod 2 to the power of w. So once we have that, we have w bits, okay, left, and then we do a RSH w minus r. W is the number of bits, I mean, for a word, right? Minus r. So what is RSH? RSH is right shift. So bitwise right shift. Bitwise right shift. So we do a bitwise right shift to get like how many bits? Shift W minus R. Okay. And then we get like you know, those R bits. Okay, we use those R bits to decide like where this this key is mapped into. Okay, there are some consideration here. First, A is a A is an odd integer in the range of 2 to the power of w minus 1. I mean, to 2 to the power of w, and it is suggested that this A is somewhere in the middle of these two extremes. Okay, not too close to the left side, not too close to the right side. So this computation, okay, it's much faster, okay, compared to the division. How come? Okay, I will talk about that. So, because all the operations involved here are very fast, okay? So, let's use an example. Say the hash table size n is 8, which is 2 to the power of 3. So your R is 3. And we assume that W is 7 bits. So each word has 7 bits long. So obviously it's a strange number, but bear with me because like we don't want to use a, usually like W is like either 16, 32, I mean that's too long. I mean it's difficult to use it as an example here. So assuming this is your A, you can see this A is close to the middle of two extremes, and also, okay, it is a odd number because last digit is 1. And this is your K. So remember the first operation is A dot K, right? So this multiplication, because it's like it's a binary number multiplication. The binary number multiplication can be done very, very efficiently, right? You just need to add them up, right? Conceptually, you just like, the first one, you just copy here. Or, I mean, if this is a 1, okay, you shift to the left for 1 bit and then copy again, and blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, you put them at the appropriate place and then do an addition. That's it, right? So the binary number multiplication can be done very, very efficiently. And then, okay, remember we are doing, mod 2 to the power of w, right? So after this mode, what happens? Only 7 bits is left, right? So all the other bits disappear. We only have the last 7 bits, right? Okay, And this, even though I say it's a mode, but it's really not, we don't need a mode. We only need to get the last W bit, right? We only need to get the last W bits, right? 就像这除以2的7次方，就 mode 2的7次方了。我们只要拿最后面7个 bit 就好了嘛，这不就是 mode 吗？所以 so even though conceptually we are doing mode, we are doing division, but in reality we just get the last W bit. Okay, so this can be done also very efficiently. Okay, so bang, we get the last 7 bit here. And then, okay, we do a right shift, bitwise right shift, W minus R. So it's going to be 7 minus 3. So it's going to be, it basically you just get rid of the few bits, the few most insignificant bits. So these 3 bits will be the resulting HK. Okay. So it's actually, because you just all these things, okay, except like one binary number multiplication, all the other operations can be done by bitwise operations, right? So bitwise operation can be done very, very efficiently. Okay, so that is why, okay, multiplication method is faster, much, much faster than division, because division involves like your mode prime number. Okay, and usually that prime number is not that small. It's not that small. Okay? So these 2 methods are the most popular hash functions out there. Okay? And then we need to talk about how we resolve the collision. Okay, but I think like we will take like a break. Okay, and when we come back, we will discuss like the methods to resolve the collision. Okay.